What's up, my peoples? Welcome back to BFTV. I'm Chris, aka the Green Eyes Bandit, here with last night's big event, Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga full card results. So let's dive into it and get down to the nitty gritty and talk about this fight last night that we had. Ladies and gentlemen, guys, what a performance last night by Canelo Alvarez. Edgar Berlanga showed a lot of heart, you know what I mean? I'm a little bit broken-hearted because I was definitely rooting for my kid, but it's all good. This is boxing. There's definitely a lot he could take away from this fight. He's learned a lot. There was a lot of things that I saw that Berlanga needs to work on. So that's that, and I say that in all respect and positivity. So like that, Edgar could go back with his team and just look at some of the things that I saw in that fight. Unfortunately, you know, his flaws was exposed for the simple fact that he fought a very more experienced fighter and champion in Canelo Alvarez. If Berlanga would have fought in someone prior to this fight, maybe like a Munguia, you know, those flaws probably would have been shown also, and he would have been able to work on that. But he didn't have a lot of time. Again, the inexperience actually did show in Berlanga. Like I told you guys, listen, I was a little bit biased in this fight for the simple fact that I know Berlanga and his dad. You know, I know him since I was young. You know, I seen him grow up in the amateurs. You know, Ali Berlanga. You know, I remember when Berlanga was training with Benny. You know, I'm also real good friends with his other trainer, Eric. You know, guys that trained the most, who are very proud of him tonight, guys. So kudos to Benny and Eric also, man. Top great trainers out here in New York also. But yeah, you know, it was a little bit heartbreaking for those that love Berlanga, you know, and I know he had a lot of people going up against him. I actually know a few Puerto Ricans that were not going for him, kid. That's not right. That's not good, man. But it's all right. To each his own, son. You know, this is a free country. You could root for whoever you want to root, right? But yeah, man, you know, it was a good card, man. Listen, one of the only thing that I would say about Berlanga right now, my only constructive criticism about it right now. So the things that I saw. Number one, anybody that's seen some of my videos, the way I fight, the way I teach, I like to teach that head movements. You know what I mean? You have to have head movements in boxing, okay? You can't just stand straight tall all the time, especially against guys who have mechanics like Canelo Alvarez, right? You gotta learn how to slip that head sometimes, you know, move the head, okay? That's one for Berlanga that he needs to work on. Two, Canelo was going down to the body well, catching it with a lot of left hook to the body. There was times that I thought that Berlanga was probably going to go down with the left hook to the body. We'll talk about the left hook to the head in the third round. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You know, things like that happen when, you know, when you don't have that tight defense sometimes, you know. So that was another thing, you know, Canelo was going to the body a lot, you know. Also, you know, I don't know what Berlanga's mentality was going to the ropes. I know in boxing you constantly hear trainers telling the boxers get off the corners. Now, there are ways for you to be able to work off those ropes. However, it is always a risk when you're fighting off the ropes because that's where you're cornered and you don't have a lot of room to throw the punches effective, you know. Again, there are tricks in the ring that you can actually use. For example, if you want to throw your right hand a little bit harder, you can push off that rope a little bit, but you got to be careful because the referee will call you out on that, okay? So that was another flaw that I saw in Edgar Berlanga. Someone with this experience who allowed Canelo to push him back like that, I thought it was a little bit, you know, it was a little bit rough. It was a little bit tough to watch. But again, that's something that Berlanga got to work on, again, because that 168 division, it is stacked, guys. It is stacked, man. It is packed. But kudos to Edgar Berlanga because he was very, very confident in that fight. You didn't see no fear in him. I think he was actually not overconfident. He had good confidence. He was saying all the right things. You could tell he was ready for this day, and he showed it. You know, he did a good job. He did a good job. So, you know, congratulations to Edgar Berlanga, man. Hold your head, guy. You're going home with over $35 million, man. You know what I mean? So it's not a big loss, man. It's not a big loss, man. You're okay, Edgar. You good in our books. You represented Brooklyn. We're happy. We love you. And we're down to come see you, man. When you got to come back to Brooklyn and come see us at Green Fitness, man. Also on the card was Eddie Lara, man, defeating Danny Garcia via TKO 9 for the WBA middleweight title. Guys, I call that. I said that. I didn't like it. I love Danny Garcia. But why the hell did they take that fight? Listen, speaking as a coach and a manager, I would never have taken that fight against Eddie Lara. He's been active. Listen, I was watching an interview that Danny Garcia had made yesterday, and in my video I actually said that I kind of like went with what he said because he's right. I was giving Danny Garcia the benefit of the doubt when I saw that interview after he said what he said, which was that Lara's last 5 opponents weren't in guys of high levels, and he's correct. So that sort of like tell me, well, maybe Danny does have a chance. But to be honest with you guys, listen, and I'm talking to any pro fighter right now that is actually watching this, and please listen to this. If you're a pro boxer and you've been off the ring, you've been away from the ring for 2 years, boss, you're rusty. You're not supposed to come back and fight a guy who's been active, who has a title, who's up, who's knocking guys out or dominating the way Lara was. You see what I'm saying? So that was more of a money grab thing. I believe that Danny probably somewhere inside the heart did believe that he could win this fight, but I truly don't believe that 100% he was there because of the way the fight ended. He got caught with a straight left hand. It wasn't that hard of a left hand. But the frustration that he had from the beginning of the first round showed. It was a puzzle that he had no solution for. Therefore, he did the right thing, guys. He quit. And I don't say that in a bad manner. This is boxing, guys. We take beatings in here sometimes. You know what I mean? It's okay to sometimes says enough is enough. Okay? I just don't like the fact that Danny took this fight. I don't think he should have taken that fight. I thought Danny should have fought a tune-up bout before he takes on anybody of that caliber like Lara. I mean, guys, come on. We're talking about Lara. We know who Lara is. Anybody that knows boxing knows who Lara is. Okay? So, I hate to see Danny go out like that, man. I wanted to see him go out with a win. I want to see him get a tune-up bout and go out with a win. That's what I want to see, and then he can retire. Okay? Because I support every boxer that wanna retire, man. I have friends and coaches that can't even talk to this day. Okay? Caleb Plant defeated Trevor McCumbee via TKO 9 for the interim WBA super middleweight title. Guys, that was a fight. That was the best fight of the night. Trevor McCumbee, like I was telling you guys in previous videos, I didn't find much about him, so I didn't know too much about him. So I didn't really have a prediction except that I thought that Caleb Plant was going to win, and he did. However, I didn't know Trevor McCumbee was coming to take his head off and try to kill him. I mean, the guy caught him with a left hook, basically almost took him halfway out of the ring, guys. That's how bad this guy wanted to fight. But Caleb Plant, man, we know what type of warrior he is, man. He's a gangster in there, man. He's a good technical boxer in there. He had to dig deep inside within himself and adjust, and then he started coming off strong in the later rounds where he actually was able to stop Trevor McCumbee. But man, Trevor McCumbee, boss, he really put his name out there, man. Honestly speaking, he scares me if they even name him for Edgar Berlanga because some of the flaws that I saw in Edgar Berlanga. Okay, these are two fighters that if Edgar Berlanga's to fight, Berlanga got to be on his toes, especially for Caleb Plant because he already owned the world title, okay? So, I don't know what's next for Edgar Berlanga, but these two guys could be next for Edgar Berlanga, not for Canelo, okay? We'll get back into Canelo a little bit. Rolando Romero also defeated Manuel Jaimes via unanimous decision. I knew that was going to happen. This was Manuel Jaimes' first big card. He's really 135 pounds. You could see he was a smaller guy in there. He didn't really have the power to hurt Rolly, but he was very aggressive, applied a lot of pressure on Rolly, made it very uncomfortable for Rolly, and, he made himself look good. So kudos to Manuel Jaimes. I wouldn't mind seeing him again. I hope to see him with a more level-headed fighter, but somebody more in his level, so he could continue gaining the experience, because obviously you could see that he trained hard in that fight. He was in Roberto Garcia's gym, so I know he got a lot of good work, and that's what helped him survive. But now he needs to gain that experience if he want to take it to that next level. Stephen Fulton was also on the card against Carlos Castro. He got knocked down in the third round, guys. 126-pound division. This is what I was saying about Inoue. When he goes up there, too, we got beasts at 126 pounds. And Carlos Castro was not even one of those beasts that I actually considered in there. But he looked like a beast in there last night. He trained hard. He was, the only thing I didn't like about Carlos Castro was that he was not using his height advantage. He was not using his feet well. A lot of time he was just coming forward with nice jabs. He was using the jabs a lot, man. Both of them, both of them did a good job with the jabs. However, Castro, unfortunately, didn't follow up too much with the jabs. Sometimes he was just pity-patting, just trying to find the right hand. And guys, you got to have more of an arsenal. You have to have more than the right hand when you're in boxing. There's left hooks. You got to set these things up. And Carlos Castro didn't do some of that. And he has a lot of experience in there. But kudos to him. He made a statement. He stays within the ranks. He'll get another big fight most likely. As for Stephen Fulton, well, listen, he did a good job. He was very active. But he did look small in that division. There's a lot of beasts in there. And I'm pretty sure there's a guy that wants his rematch in Angelo Leo. And the way Stephen Fulton looked last night, honestly, I don't think he could beat Angelo Leo at featherweight. And Angelo Leo, of course, we already know has a momentum going on right now that I think it's going to be very difficult for anybody to stop. And last but not least, young up-and-coming prospect Jonathan Lopez defeated Richard Medina. I thought Jonathan Lopez might have knocked out Richard Medina because of one of the fights that I saw him, the way he knocked somebody out, one of the opponents out. I said, oh my God, this guy got devastating power. Although he did show that power because he ended up knocking Richard Medina with that same straight left hard. I thought Richard Medina was not going to get back up, but he beat the count. But he lost by unanimous decision. But Jonathan Lopez, good Puerto Rican young fighter, guys. Look him up, watch him. He's going to be a future star most likely, okay? But anyway, guys, that's it for now, guys. Listen, man, thank you for all the support and love. And to all my kids, listen, I will be coming back with my Green Eyes Bandit mask, okay? I'm so sorry that I deleted the other videos. It wasn't because I didn't like it. Like I said, I'm just rebranding. So, kids, don't worry about it. I'm coming back better and stronger, man. But I got to give this up for a few days only because I want to work harder on this. And also, I got to get back to the gym and start training my guys. And I got to get back to the schools and start working with my kids. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Please show that love. I am coming. I have a lot of good things that are coming in the near future. Trust me, I got a professional team that is working with me, helping me out. And, you know, I'm using this as leverage right now in order to get to where I need to get in this world of boxing. All right, guys? Anyway, peace, love, and prosperity. One, guys.